Hello, it is July 8th. I'm so freaking excited to start this workshop. I know it's a holiday weekend, so it's really hard for people to pop on here, but I didn't want people to miss out on this. And I'll send out the recording to everybody that missed. This is Kalina. Kalina used to be a client of mine, and we've known each other for a long time. Good friend, and now is actually a business partner. So I was like, hey, come do this workshop with me. Okay, if you hear a baby crying in the background, I am so sorry. Hopefully, somebody grabs her because I don't know what my husband's doing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and screen share. Let's see. No, go back. I'm gonna do share screen. My goodness, she is so loud. View slideshow. Okay. So excited to get started. So this is Get Your Pink Back workshop. It was actually originally called More Energy, Less BS. But as I was reading about the mama flamingo, and when she has her children, she gives all of her nutrition, nutrients, and energy to her baby, and actually quite literally loses her pink. And I read about this when I was 6 months postpartum, and I felt like I lost my pink, and I was like, oh my gosh, mama flamingo, I get it, right? So I was in a place where I'm like, we need to get our pink back. And at the same time, there was a social media influencer who her page is Get Your Pink Back, and I loved it. So I'm kind of riffing off of her, and it just is so beautiful. So in this workshop, you're going to finally learn how to start filling your cup. This, and not just for mamas, but for teachers or healthcare workers, anybody that's taking care of other people. It's so easy to fill everybody's cup except for ours. So you're going to finally learn how to fill your cup so that you can take on every freaking day feeling pumped and motivated and excited for life. And I have Abraham Lincoln's quote on here because it's so often that we get in this feeling of overwhelm, especially when we're taking care of other people, right? So in this feeling of overwhelm, it comes from us feeling like we have to do everything at once. But this quote came around the same time. I read this quote for the first time around the same time that I started doing these workshops. And it said, the best thing about the future is it comes one day at a time. So as a mama or as a woman or wherever you are in life, taking it one day at a time and remembering that overwhelm is actually abundance that we once prayed for. We just need to process it a little bit different, one day at a time. So I am Kira Miranda. I am the founder of Empire Rewire and the Get Your Pink Back workshop, More Energy, Less BS. Again, it's kind of shifted more towards women because women are my jam, right? I am a certified life coach who specializes in burnout recovery, goal setting, and helping women fall deeply, madly in love with themselves. I do partner with a company because it's more affordable than people paying me just for my life coaching services. I have a bachelor's from the University in Health Promotion Education and a minor in coaching. I was a teacher in education for 10 years. I was so burnt out. Like being a mama, being an educator, or being a mama and a healthcare worker, it's like double time taking, like pouring your cup out into everybody else's cup. I wanted out so bad that I was like, I gotta go get a master's, but I need to do it something that's going to get me out of education. So I went and got a master's in business. So this is me. This is Kalina. Kalina has done some amazing things. She has, I should even say, I have 4 kids. I have 3 boys, and I finally got my girl. And I struggled with endometriosis, PCOS. I was originally told I couldn't have kids, but through the process that I'm going to show you, not only was I able to, I had 4 miscarriages. So out of 8 pregnancies, 4 of them stuck. My last one using these process, we were able to get her here. But anyway, rewind. This is Kalina. She has been doing this with me for, how long have we been together?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Almost 2 years. Do you want to tell a little bit about your story?
A little bit about my story.
About you.
I'm Kalina, and I am a very new coach. I started my wellness journey about 2 years ago, and I've had all the bumps you could imagine. Kira is amazing. She keeps me in line and she keeps me motivated. I struggle with type 2 diabetes, PCOS. I went through weight loss surgery a year ago. I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted, but this program and Kira being my coach has completely transformed my life, and my quality of life is better than I could ever imagine. So I wish I had all that education. Like, I'm looking at all your credentials and I'm like, dang,
You don't need that.
but I really strive for self-care and self-love, and that's something I focus on. And I believe that nourishing your body, moving your body, doing the work is what gets you to succeed in life.
Right.
So, and it with this community and everything, it's amazing. And so I
Yes.
love it. That's why I'm here today, because I love it.
So Kalina has 3 beautiful
Yes,
boys,
I have 3 boys.
and they're all like little stud muffins, and they're killing it in their sports. And a lot of that is watching mom work through adversity. So they're the little amazing athletes that they are because of you. So it's amazing. It's so amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so today you're going to learn what you need to do to create more energy and feel like you can do anything. Because when you have that energy, when you feel like you can do anything, you really can do anything.
Mhm.
So don't forget, we're going to get started, but it's now let's get started. Sorry, on why it's so freaking hard to feel motivated and take care of yourself without feeling like you're dropping all of the balls and failing in all of the areas. So the reason why I said don't forget is because I am giving away that free gift card at the end. So take a picture or tag or whatever you want to do, share that on social media. The more tags we get, so we're going to do the drawing tonight because there's a bunch of people that have to watch the recording. So we're going to do the drawing. Actually, I'm going to do it probably Sunday or Monday if I can give people a little bit more time. And then no, we've got to do it sooner than that. So we'll do it tomorrow. And announce the winner on social media tomorrow. So on I was gonna say Empire Rewire, on my Real Mom Empowerment Instagram page. Okay, so let's get freaking started. I'm so excited. Experts have said, in order to be a successful or a great mom, or even just a successful or a great woman, you have to basically be perfect, right? But I sat and I wrote down all of the different things that I can think of that I heard as a woman, and all of the different things that I was told, or even maybe not necessarily told, but kind of like was pressured to feel this way, influenced in some kind of way. So the experts have said that you have to be grateful for the time that you have because they're young, right? It's going to go quickly. Okay, that's true. Like, this time is going to go so fast, but at the same time, my 2-year-old is such an a-hole that saying, well, deal with it. You only have this time for a short amount of time. That doesn't make me feel better, right? And it's freaking hard, right? You're supposed to sacrifice all of your joy for them. This right here, okay? Your job is to sacrifice for your children. Yes and no. Because if I'm sacrificing my physical and mental health for them, I'm probably not giving them the best version of me. And if I'm giving them the rest of me, not the best of me, they're going to get crumbs. They're going to get yelled at. They're going to get an impatient mom, and they deserve better from me. This is what I got a lot when I was pregnant. I remember hearing, you got to give into your cravings. Your body needs it. That's why you're craving it. And then I heard people say, don't give into your cravings. You're going to gain too much weight. It's just so crazy. And then people would say, you need to gain more weight, or don't gain too much weight. Or I even heard this when I was pregnant. This is the only time you're allowed to be fat. I'm like, who says that? Who said? Because I gained 50 pounds with my last pregnancy. And my husband's BS grabbed my cheeks and she was like, this is the only time you're allowed to be fat. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, don't talk like that. Okay, so I've heard you need to live on salads. You need to keep your house clean in order to be perfect and to be happy. You need to get ready for the day every single day. This one was really hard for me. In order to have results, you have to eliminate all carbs. That's BS. Okay. Well, all of these are, but be a certain size. I can go on and on and on with the different things. The more recent one I've heard is everything has to be organic or you're poisoning your children. Like, everything is so freaking extreme. And when I was a full-time teacher, I was told I was a bad mom because I should be home with my kids. Well, when I was home with my kids, I was told I was a bad woman because I should be out in the force field as a woman. The real woman works. Like, you're going to hear crazy expectations from so-called experts. And the truth is, anybody on Facebook is an expert now. Like they think Sally Sue thinks she has done enough research, especially during the pandemic, man, that things got crazy on Facebook. But the truth is, if you are not where you want to be, that's okay. Because society wants you to be this 1920s housewife with the cost of living that we live on today. So a 1920s housewife didn't have all of the expenses that we had, right? Mortgages weren't crazy like they are right now. So how can we be that person they expected us to be? What is that? 100 years ago with the life that we have now? It just doesn't make sense. Okay. So suddenly we become aware that because we've been listening to a society called or so-called experts, we aren't where we want to be because we're comparing ourselves. We're comparing ourselves to crazy expectations. We're comparing ourselves to other people. And the only time in life that you are behind or not where you want to be is when you're in comparison. The truth is, not being where you want to be is not your fault. So I want you to take a second to breathe out any guilt or shame or frustration or feeling of lack of success because you're realizing it's not your fault. So take a breath. It's not your fault. And we're not going to claim that anymore. And we're going to lift that weight off of our shoulders and be the badasses that we were meant to be. As women, we deserve to treat ourselves better because the truth is society has not always treated us well and still doesn't treat us as well as the opposite, right? Okay, so here's what's really cool though, is society again has taught us we're lacking this, we need to have this, we need to have this. But the truth is, and this is what I learned in life coaching school, is this core value that you already have everything inside you to unleash and create the life of your dreams, to be happy, like genuinely full-blown happy every single day. That power comes from you. So as a life coach, my job is to help pull that out and help you like peel off the layers of guilt and shame and crazy expectations to bring out what you actually want. And more importantly, how to get it. Maybe not more importantly, but just as important, how to freaking get it and maintain that. Okay. So I was really hesitant, and I was telling Klein about this earlier. I was really hesitant and nervous to share this picture of me. And the reason why is because right now there's like this huge wave of shame when showing side-by-side pictures, because this is not a before and after picture. Okay. The journey does not end. This is a in the process picture. So I told you during my pregnancy, I'd gained 50 pounds. So this left picture was after I had lost about 20. This picture on the right was, it was about a year later. Okay. So this isn't like a lose it quick scheme or anything. This is like a process that has created this. And the reason why I wanted to show you this picture is because I did this without those crazy expectations. I did this while eating out. I did this while doing 20-minute workouts in my home. Like, you don't have to spend hours in the gym to get these results. You don't have to eat salads every freaking meal. We ate out like at least 2 times a week, sometimes more. And honestly, eating out doesn't give me the energy I want to have, but I just want to show you that you don't have to do everything perfect. We want to get away from that all or nothing mentality and start stacking up habits. So the only weight that you need to lose, I need to be clear on this. The only weight that you absolutely need to lose is shame, guilt, the weight of comparison, and the weight of caring about other people's opinions, right? So F's given about other people's opinions. You can eat out and get results. You don't have to eat every meal organic. Now, of course, it's ideal because the less chemicals you have in your body, the better. But like, I mean, who can afford organic every freaking, like, get it where you can. So I'm like, the only thing I really for sure want to have organic is like grapes and apples, because those hold, that's a whole nother conversation. But like, you get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, you don't have to give away your life. And this is why so many women are like, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have money to eat perfectly healthy. There's a way to do it that's gonna work for you. Okay. So I want to tell you a story, because this is, I'm going to tell you what stops most women. Okay. And it starts with telling you about my son learning math. So he comes home from school one day and he is just struggling and he's not getting it. And I'm like, okay, honey, let's sit down, show me what you're not getting. And I explain it to him and he's like, I'm just so stupid, I'm never going to get it. And he won't let in like what I'm trying to teach him. And I'm trying to show him like, this really is simple. Just pay attention. Like, I can't even remember what it was, but I'm not the best at math. But I was getting frustrated with him because I'm like, if you would just freaking listen, you're going to hear how to fix this. And I realized one day that I used to do this to myself. And instead of letting in the good and the joy, I would walk by the mirror and say, I'm so stupid and ugly, I'm never going to get it. And then what I would do is I would turn to all of the cookies to feel better. I would turn to all of the, like, I'm not talking a cookie, I'm talking all of the cookies. I ate a whole pack of Girl Scout cookies in like 10 minutes once. It was, I just went to town. So I'm going to further manifest that I'm not where I want to be because I'm eating all of this stuff that's not good for me. But the biggest thing is the way that I was talking to myself, which, and I'm going to talk about this later, is called deconstructive ethos. So I'm just digging out the way that I think and the way that I talk to myself until I'm this empty hole. And my son was doing that because he watched me do it. That's when I realized, holy shit, something needs to change. I need to change not just the way that I talk to myself, but the way that I think about myself, because my children are watching and that is on the line. Okay, so this changes today with constructive ethos. So we are no longer going to pick ourselves apart. And when we do, because it's a habit we're in, right, we're going to stop and we're going to change the way that we talk about ourselves. And this is like the number one most important thing that I'm going to teach you today. And there's three things really, but there's only one I'm going to dive into just for the sake of time, because if nothing changes, what changes, right? So you're on this call because you're like, I need more energy. This is how you create more energy. And your brain is going to tell you, you know, this is going to take energy to do it. That's okay, because energy creates energy, right? So here's the biggest change. What if we change through love instead of hate? So for example, instead of using exercise to punish your body, using it to love on your body, right? So here's the deal, is your energy, your pink is over here and you are over here. And we need to, there's this like gap that we need to close in this bridge or this puzzle. And in order to close it, we have three puzzle pieces. In between is guilt, experiencing boundary bullying, which is so common, especially in the workplace for women. It's common with family members. I can't tell you how many relationships sadly were ended with family members because they weren't respecting my boundaries and they liked me better when I didn't have boundaries, which means they didn't genuinely care about me, right? In this gap, we experience shame. We're sacrificing way too much of ourselves. We're going to feel lonely even if we're surrounded by people, feel doubt, saying no to ourselves and yes to everybody else, which is going to create resentment and then take you down this spiral, right? And deconstructive ethos. So today we are going to close this gap. This is what I call the burnout gap. So this is like the perfect storm to create burnout and exhaustion in our lives. Okay, so the three puzzle pieces are constructive ethos, having a simple plan. So like rewind, think about when I was like, you don't have to spend hours in the gym. You don't have to eat perfect every single meal. That's not simple and that's not sustainable, right? And then two-way accountability is like what ties everything together. So if we don't learn self-mental care through the practice of constructive ethos, we're going to end up continuing to let ourselves do things that hurt us, like yo-yo dieting, bad dieting, self-deprecating talk, and live in constant exhaustion without ever getting your pink back or the results you've ever wanted, aka more energy, right? And I saw this quote. It said, someone's external success is a reflection of the work they have done inside. So if you see somebody that's like physically or financially where you want to be, instead of like feeling frustrated or making it mean something about you, what you could do is realize it means something about them. It means they've done some work on the inside to create what's going on the outside. And sometimes it's joy. It's not just like losing weight. It's not just like building muscle. It's actually being happy. and not letting things bug you that used to bug you. Okay. So if we don't take care of these things, it's going to lead to heart disease, diabetes, and perpetuating generational trauma. And that was the biggest thing for me. If you do learn the self-mental care through the science of constructive ethos, mastering these 3 pillars or puzzle pieces, you can finally get the energy and self-belief without having to sacrifice all of your hours, your favorite comforts, and breaking the bank. Okay. And I did mention generational trauma over here. Our children do not have to wear those generational chains that we've worn for so long. And I was telling Kalina about some of the generational trauma that I am intentionally trying to break for my children. I can't remember what one I told you about last night, but I was thinking over the night, for me, I had this huge limiting belief about money, being raised by, so my dad, he had polio in the 50s and his parents grew up in the Great Depression. So I had this belief that they instilled in me that money was hard to come by and you had to work your ass off to make just enough to get by. And sometimes even then you have to ask for help, right? So that's what I thought money was. I thought money in a scarcity mindset, but I see my children now and they're not going to have to wear that, right? So they don't have to do the safe job. They don't have to do what everybody else says. They can actually have a job that brings them joy and realize that money is out there in abundance. And with the right actions, you can have it flow to you, right? Mm-hmm. And I used to be so scared to talk about money because I was like, everybody's going to think I'm horrible because I want money. And that's not the case. Like, because now I believe that money is energy and it can flow to me, right? And I can do so much good with it. I used to repel money, but I realized, hey, I can go help people. I can donate. I can do all these different things if I have more money. So it's an obligation for me to break that chain of mediocrity and that chain of limiting belief for my children. But the other thing we talked about was how we comfort ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right. So I was taught when you're sad, mm-hmm. you eat. When you're happy, you eat. When you're excited, you eat, and using food as joy. So when I decided to stop doing that, and it was the hardest thing ever, I had to find joy outside of food. And it was the hardest. You've experienced that too, right?
Oh yeah, I still struggle with it.
Like, it's so hard. It is, but it's the most rewarding journey you could absolutely go on.
It really is, yes.
Okay, so the first puzzle piece is simplicity. So having a simple and sustainable plan is a freaking game changer. So with a simple and sustainable plan, you're going to have energy to do things that you've neglected yourself with in the past. You're going to have time because, for example, the 20-minute workouts I did, it was so much more doable. And when I had the all or nothing mentality, right? So I would spend hours in the gym because I'm like, I can only get the results if I spend hours in the gym. Well, I get better results now with 20-minute more efficient workouts. But also I have no excuse now to miss out on my workout because I could do it while my kids are sleeping. And if you've seen my social media posts, you see my kids coming in and out, and it's become a norm. And what's cool is they see me do it. So they're like, okay, this is normal, right? With this simple, sustainable plan, you eat for energy since foods don't have to be boring and 100% solids. You can also still enjoy them. You're going to have so much better sleep because the less you stress about what you're eating, what you're doing, and if it's just kind of done for you, you're going to sleep better. And also when you're eating better, it's going to be easier on your gut. You're going to sleep better. Exercises. It's just the less stress you have in the body, the better you're going to sleep and the longer you're going to live. And also on a sustainable, simple plan, it's going to save you money, especially with groceries, what they are these days. Holy crap, they're insane, right? So like, I don't know how anybody can afford to not be on a grocery list, like meal plan. It's just crazy. 2A accountability is, I'd like to use the word allegiance in the past, but now it feels a little strong, like with the political climate being a little creepy, you know, and things are weird now, right? So like allegiance feels a little cultish. So I've kind of moved away from using it. But what I mean by an allegiant plan is like having somebody in your corner that's invested in your results, in your goals, in your joy, and what you want in life. And that's why, like, and having somebody that you hold yourself accountable to in a way that they care so much about you, they're going to be there for you. And that is so helpful. Do you want to add to that? Does that make any sense?
It is helpful. It's so helpful because life gets in the way. It's gonna, and it's, I think this is the biggest piece for me, because I'm very, I tend to, what's the word am I trying to think of? Well, I self-sabotage. We were just talking about that. I self-sabotage, and I will kind of give myself the easy way out, like come up
Yeah.
with excuses like, oh, I don't need to do my workout because I had a really bad day. And I come up with all the excuses. But if I know that I have to show up, and this could be bad, tell me if I'm wrong. But if I have to show up and get my workout done, honestly, sometimes I think of you.
No,
Because I'm like, I can't see myself right now doing it for me. So I'm gonna do it for Kira.
yeah,
And that's just it works for me.
because that's what we've been taught. Because
It-
society told us we have to show up for other people, not for ourselves, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it could be a bad thing, but honestly, like it gets my workout done. And
Yeah.
and I do what works.
Right. And
So
you do
that's
that until it becomes habit.
I
right?
really lean into accountability. With
Yes.
that.
And not only that is show up knowing that you're not alone. And when you see
Yes.
other people, like when people find out, because they see me work out all the time on my social media, but when they learn that I don't always want to work out, but I do, they're like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. This is normal.
Yeah.
And I don't have to feel any kind of way about it. I can do this, right? If she can do it and she doesn't want to, I can do it.
Exactly.
So knowing you're not alone, and also
perfect.
you don't want to like, when I text you and I'm like, okay, what are you doing today? You know, you want to have an answer.
Well, yeah.
It's like a
I want to
pressure.
be like, I had a productive day, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. And here's such a, do you like how it goes from 1 to 3? Number 3, this one was huge for me, is knowing that you are going to be seen and heard, but more importantly, knowing that you are worthy. Gosh, I'm
Exactly.
gonna get emotional. Knowing that you're worthy of being seen and heard. I grew up with 5 siblings and a single dad who was a teacher who also taught home hospital. He was constantly working just to make the ends meet. And I remember shrinking myself because I wanted to make life easier for my dad. And I was 7 years old. Like I knew at such an early age that I needed to be quiet and make life easier for them. And that's not healthy. So as an adult, I'm learning how to not shrink myself anymore. And I'm really trying to help my children learn that hardships in life are not their fault and not their responsibility, right? So being seen and heard is something that's so important, and it makes you realize that you are important and that you matter. And that's where that accountability is so important. Okay. And you'll be recognized with accountability, with two-way accountability and allegiance plan. You're going to be recognized and celebrated every step of the way. That is so important. That's a part of that constructive ethos we're going to talk about, changing the way that you think, because what gets celebrated gets repeated. And the things that we're celebrating, obviously, we want to repeat as much as possible. So that's huge. Bless you.
Thank you.
Piece number 3, and this is the one we've dived into mostly. So when you have constructive ethos, you're going to be able to show up with confidence, feel empowered, feel excited, feel motivated, and trust the work that you do today will help your goals come into fruition. And this is a huge piece, is this is going to stop that all or nothing mentality, because that keeps people from taking action. That perfectionism. With constructive ethos, we can lose perfectionism and realize that when we do this, even if it's one time, it's going to stack up, right? Like, I'm going to do it today. I'm just going to do it today, and then worry about it tomorrow, right? Take it one day at a time. And you're going to feel like you have purpose and direction. Now, I didn't used to share this purpose piece, and I didn't used to share it on social media because I felt a lot of guilt and shame, because as a mother, I was like, my children should be my only purpose.
I've said that before.
Yes, I've said that before too.
They're my purpose for life.
And I felt so guilty that that wasn't enough for me. Like I felt so much shame because I'm like, I need something outside of being a mother. And when I started doing two-way accountability with people, and when I started being an accountability coach and accepting accountability on my end, I realized this is my purpose. My purpose is to help other mamas that are lost in their darkness, and to be a light for them so that they can start charging their light, like a solar light bulb, right? Like I want to be that solar power for them so they can start charging their light. And that brought me so much joy. My children do bring me a lot of purpose, but they are not my main purpose. And accepting and changing the way I saw that and talked about it was huge for my joy. Okay. So with life coaching, I told you one of the most important things is understanding that you have everything inside of you. My job is just to pull it out. And the first thing that we do is start thinking about head voice versus heart voice. So we have these two different voices that we battle through back and forth. When we're in our head voice, it's going to express itself in fear and doubt, shame, judgment. So when we're feeling those emotions, that's our head voice. It's rooted in scarcity and points to the past. So we might say things like, well, I've never been able to do it in the past. I can't do it now. Or I don't have time. That's doubt. Or I'm not good enough. That weakness, that failure, right? So the head voice actually does have a purpose. It's that caveman part of your brain that is meant to protect you and keep you safe, because it doesn't want you to, it wants to keep you from expending as much energy as possible, right? But it actually works against us. The heart voice, this heart voice points to the future. It's rooted in abundance, and it expresses itself in hope, faith, strength, purpose, potential, and love. So when you're thinking about the people that you love, the people that you believe in the most, it's going to be in a place of love and potential, right? Like I look at my children and I say, you can do anything. But I used to look at myself and say, ooh, you can't do that. Like, why are you even trying? That's that head voice. And it's so easy for us to have heart voice for other people, but it's hard for us to pull on ourselves. So as a coach, one of the things that I do is help you push you into your heart voice out of your head voice. And the way that we do this, I got to move this so I can see. The way that we do this is, is being aware of the stories that we tell ourselves and the facts. So if we want to get in our heart voice, if we want to control our actions that we're taking, we have to control our feelings. Well, how do we control our feelings? We control them by the way that we think about the facts around us, right? So for example, for a fact, I am sitting in a chair. If I'm in my head voice, I could be like, you are lazy, you are weak, you don't ever do anything. And that's going to create a feeling of shame, right? And when I'm in shame, am I going to go work out and am I going to go do personal development and serve the world? No, I'm probably going to reach for all of the cookies or just sit and binge watch Ted Lasso or, something like that. Maybe not even Ted Lasso if I'm in like that, because that's such a positive show. I'll probably be watching something awful, like, I don't know.
I've never even heard of that.
What? Oh my God. We're about to change life. Okay. Anyway, basically my actions are going to manifest that story even further, that I am lazy and I don't do anything and I'm not productive, right? So let's push that into heart voice. Fact is, I'm sitting in a chair. If the story I tell myself is I'm allowing myself to rest because as soon as I get up, I'm going to move mountains and I'm going to do amazing shit, that's going to create a different feeling in my body. And when I'm sitting here thinking I can do anything, that feeling is going to be excitement. Like even right now, I feel it in my body. I feel exciting. I feel excited. I feel like I could actually move mountains. And in that feeling, what am I going to do? I'm going to start being intentional. I'm going to start planning. I'm going to time block. My planner's under all this stuff, or else I'd show you. I'm going to time block and I am going to do all of the actions. I'm going to be intentional about my exercise. I'm going to be intentional about the way that I talk about myself and to myself. I'm going to be intentional about making sure I'm spending eyeball to eyeball with my husband, with my children, with my friends, right? And you can see if I'm doing all of these actions, I'm going to manifest the story that I can move mountains because I am moving mountains, right? So it's so freaking powerful in doing that. Do you have, so I'm question for you. Do you have a situation in life where you feel like you're having a hard time? And I'm going to stop the screen share for a second. Oh, up here. Stop it. Okay. Do you have a situation in life that you need to feel like you could use some push coaching, get out of your head voice into your heart voice?
Yes, absolutely. Like, I feel like for me, it is pretty much feeling like, my identity is only a mom. Like I have felt like I've lost myself. I know I've shared with you, I'm currently going through a separation from my partner. And that feeling of, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I good enough for him? Why can't I be loved? Having to, like, all those self-doubts, all of those things that, you have to love yourself and find yourself again. And I feel like I need to stop thinking that I did anything wrong. Like it's not me, you know?
Yes.
So it's a lot.
No, that's beautiful. Okay, so the fact is, let's separate fact from story, okay? So the fact is that you're a mother. How old are your kiddos?
I have two. So my oldest is 7 and my youngest is 3. They're both August babies, so they're 4 years apart. So they're gonna be 4 and 8 pretty soon.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
How
Isn't it? Oh,
exciting.
I love those ages. Like
They're
2 to
fun.
3 are so hard, but it's so fun to watch them learn the world, right? Okay. So the fact is you're a mother and you're going through a separation. Okay.
Mhm.
So the story, I heard you immediately told your head voice story, which is I'm not lovable, right? Is that what
Mhm.
you said?
Yeah, I feel like, what was wrong with me? Like why doesn't he love me anymore? Or, what did
Okay.
I do wrong?
Yeah. So I'm not lovable. There's something wrong with me. I'm doing something wrong. Right. So that's the story. So what feeling, can you think of the last time where you were like actually thinking that in your head?
Um, I know it was sometime this week. I'm not sure because I'm a full-time mom and then I have my son in sports and I think it was sometime during the week where I didn't feel like taking my son to practice and I think I was like, let's take the day off. And during that day off, I'm just thinking like, this is why he doesn't love me because, I give up or I feel like I'm not a good mom
Or
type of
overwhelmed
thing.
wins?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this space where you're feeling like you're failing, what like feeling would you say you have in your body? What is that vibration you have in your body?
Um, I definitely feel all my emotions. It's just an overwhelming feeling of sadness, guilt. It's um, I don't know. It's frustration too.
Mm, okay. So fact is you are a mother of 2 and you're going through a separation. Okay. And the story in a lot of moments that you tell yourself is there's something wrong with me. Why can't he love me? What am I doing? And when you're in that space, you're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling an overwhelming feeling of sadness, is what you said, guilt and frustration, right? So
Mhm.
remember, those are ways that the head voice expresses itself and through those feelings. So think about that when you were in this feeling earlier this week. What were Do you have like a specific time in mind that like can you take yourself back to that feeling?
Yeah, because practice is normally for us, it's usually like the same time every day. So
Mhm.
it's like early afternoon, like I get off of work at 3:30, practice starts at 4:30, and it's like that I have that hour to decide whether, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. So when you're in this feeling of overwhelming sadness, guilt, and frustration, what are some actions that you take immediately after?
When I'm feeling that way,
Mhm.
honestly, I just go lay in bed. I just want to curl up in a ball, just turn on the TV for my kids and I isolate myself.
Oof. Okay. Isolate myself. So when you're in a space where you're isolating yourself, does that give people time to love you?
No, it doesn't allow them to like come and love me because, I'm pushing them away.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything that you definitely don't do in that moment?
Mm, I don't love myself. Like in that moment, I'm not trying to really like find a solution. I just feel stuck in
Mhm.
those feelings.
So I'm going to add something to that. You feel stuck, so you stay stuck.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay. So the fact is, I'm going to rewind a little bit. The fact is, you are a mother of 2 going through separation. And the story that you're telling yourself through the separation is, where did it go? Right there. The story is, there's something wrong with me and I'm not lovable. And in that moment, when you're in this story, you're feeling overwhelming sadness and guilt to the point where you want to go lay in bed. You isolate yourself. You don't love on yourself and you push everybody away and you feel stuck. And so you are stuck.
Yes.
Can you see how these actions or lack of actions are actually manifesting your story that I'm not lovable and that
Mhm.
there's something wrong with me?
Yes.
That's so painful to hear, right?
Yeah.
But the cool part and the healing part is that you get to change this story and you get to manifest a new story. So the fact remains the same. You're a mother, I need to learn how to say, mother of 2 going through a separation. Okay. So the story, what does the story of your heart voice say? So remember, heart voice expresses itself in potential, in love, in giving yourself grace and kindness. And if you need one way that you can get into your story, your heart voice is there a woman in your life that you adore and love, that you believe in?
Um, I mean, I definitely love and adore my mom. She passed away in 2020, but man, she was a go-getter. She did such an amazing things. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like the product Mary Kay, but she was a Mary Kay lady.
Oh,
And
yes,
nice.
yes. We were just talking about Mary Kay.
Yeah,
She did a party this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
so my mom was like the best. She won multiple cars. She had like she was known at like to drive a Cadillac, those pink Cadillacs, and
Yes. Okay, so she
she,
was up there in the company. Like,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
She has these plaques. So like my mom is my biggest motivation because you know she came from a background where she didn't even get to go to school when she was a young girl, like because you know during that time women didn't get an education, and you know as she got older she was able to you know get a little bit of education. So with the very little education she had, she did so much, and
But
she came from or her personality was like she was a fighter. She wasn't going to let anything stop her and bring her down. So like my mom is everything to me. So but um you know she's not here anymore, so that's another part that like I struggle with, you know, still grieving her, and you know this grieving this separation now as well. But it's like a whole lot of things that are like being thrown on my plate that's kind of hard to get up. But every now and then after I lay in bed for a while, that heart voice does kick in where I'm like, you know, get up, do something. So I'll grab my kids, I'm like, you know what, let's go for a walk, you know, because let's get them out of the house. Let's do something where it'll benefit both of you. And they get so happy. They're like, oh, yeah, let's go for a walk or let's go to the park. And, you know, in that moment, I feel happy because I see them happy.
yes, I love that so much. And I noticed as soon as you started talking about your mom,
Her
your
heart.
heart voice came out, your energy changed.
Yep.
So it's so easy for you to talk about your mom with your heart voice, but when it comes to yourself, you've never been trained on how to give that heart voice for yourself, right? So I want you to think about as we're creating this new story. So remember, the fact is you are a mother of 2, you're busy because you're a mother of 2, you have a 3-year-old, you're busy, right? You're going through a separation. Okay. So the new story that we're going to create, I want you to think of it as if your mom was going through this and she said, what would you say to her if she was like, hey, I'm going through a separation, I'm a mother of 2, do you believe that she would be okay?
I think so. I think she would like, she was just such a positive person and a positive thinker that in the moment that anytime she had a negative thought or doubt, she would just pray. And then she would, after she'd pray, she's like, okay, let's get up and let's get going because we can't just stay stuck here. She was really that type of person where she would sit in her feelings for a moment, but it was just a moment and she would regain herself and then get back on that horse and keep going.
Right. So what would you say to her if she's like, there's something wrong with me, why can't people love me? What would you say to her?
I would say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Of course, everybody loves you, and I'd probably point out the facts like, we wouldn't know what to do without you, you know?
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so that's your new story. Okay, so the fact is you're going through a divorce. Or through a separation. You're a mother of two going through a separation. Your new story is there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. There are people who wouldn't know what to do without you, who love you. You are important. I'm going to add to it, you matter. How does that story feel in your body?
I feel like, it is true because I'm a core piece of my family. What would my kids do without me? What would my dad do without me? Because after my mom passed away, like I take him out to eat every Sunday. Like it's something we do. I make sure that he has groceries, that, he doesn't get lonely. I take my kids to go visit him. It's like I
You're
I
amazing.
know I know that like, we need each other.
Yeah. What emotion do you feel when you think like that?
Um, I feel like, I can't give up. I have to keep going. I have to do this because people rely on me. And it's a it's a basic human need. You want to feel loved. You want to feel like you're important. It feels good to be needed. And even like I need my dad sometimes because I do go to therapy and he watches my kiddos for an hour while I go in person. So I'm like, I need him too.
Yeah. So for the feeling that you have in this story, is it determined?
I would definitely label it determination. The willingness to keep going.
Yes. And you know what? I'm so sorry about the loss of your mother.
Thank
And
you.
I know that that's hard, but she left one of the most important parts of her with you, and that determination. So we have to fill our cup so that we can remember that, right?
Mhm.
Because when you're in your head voice, you lose that story, right? But your new story has a beautiful part of her in you. And that's such a beautiful way to remember her. So the fact is, you're a mother of two going through a separation. Okay. And this story that we tell ourselves now is there's nothing wrong with me. I am lovable. I am worthy and I matter. I feel determined. When you're like, I feel determined, what are some of the actions that you take when you do feel determined?
Um, when I do feel determined, I get up, I start cleaning. I start getting my home organized. I do enjoy writing things down. I'll go take my kids, like, let's go to, because we live by a Dollar Tree, so sometimes we'll walk over there. I want to go and buy myself journals, school supplies, and get myself, organized and goal focused.
Yes, I love that. And you help your dad?
Yes, I do help them out a lot.
Okay, so check out this action line. When you're in this new story of I'm worthy, I can do it, I matter, you feel determined and then you take actions like you get up and clean. You don't stay in bed. You don't push people away. You spend time with your family. You help out your family. You go on walks. You write things down. You get organized. Can you see how these actions are going to manifest that story? I matter. People love me. They wouldn't know what to do without me.
Mhm.
So it's all about being intentional of what we're manifesting by controlling the story that we tell ourselves. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is so
Yes,
powerful.
thank you.
And we are going to help you stay in your heart voice so that you don't retreat and go back into bed and you stay strong through this and never forget that you are worthy of love and that you are so capable.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do these workshops and connect with, people who are struggling. Because it's like even now I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I, jumped onto this and met with you guys and listened to your
Yes.
PowerPoint. Because I'm like, honestly, throughout your PowerPoint, I was like, wait, you know what? I need to start doing stuff and listening at the same time.
That's so
I-
funny. It's okay for you to just take the time and listen and absorb. You don't have to. And that's another thing as mamas, we think we always have to be multitasking. And we don't always have to. Men never multitask and they survive, right? We
Yeah.
forgive them. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this out really quick. But you can see through this session and what we do that we are so lit up by helping other people. And this is my why. This is why this is my purpose. And why I am so determined to serve other mamas. You felt it, you felt the energy. And like, we're going to get off this call, and normally work like takes from your energy, but this work, it lights us up.
It feeds my energy.
It feeds my energy. Like,
Yeah.
and I've never had a job before where I felt pumped and energized and excited for life. So these pillars quite literally saved my life. I remember waking up one day, I had an 8-month-old healthy baby, 8-month-old, I had an 8-week-old healthy baby. My kids were healthy. I had a good life, a very supporting husband. He was in school full-time. I was a full-time teacher. And I remember waking up not wanting to be alive. And I was struggling, and I went into therapy, and I started doing these 3 pillars with my coach, and slowly felt like I became human again, and slowly realized I don't have to feel guilty that my children are not my only purpose. And it changed the freaking game for me. And you can actually see me and Kalina in this picture right here. Kalina's here, yes. And so connecting with other women, serving other women, has changed the game for me. So we do have a program that we would love to share with you. Are you okay if we share the details of our program with you? Yeah. Okay, awesome. There's no obligation here, but I would love to share. So in our program, there are, how many did we have? 7 promises?
6 or 7, yeah.
6 or 7 promises we want to go through in our program case. Number 1, we have a proven method to fall deeply, madly, and truly in love with yourself by developing unshakable self-belief, organization, self-control, and to create the body, mind, and life of our dreams without spending hours in a gym and going into debt. You're going to be given time carving tools to relieve your full plate, which is going to make the 24 hours feel longer. Like, believe it or not, because right now you're probably like, well, where am I going to add in this stuff? That's what I'm always thinking. But when we're intentional with these time carving tools, you're going to feel like you have more time than you've ever had to accomplish the things that you want and still make memories with your family. You're going to get my exact blueprint on how we get pumped and excited for life by creating a sacred routine that drags you out of brain fog and gives you energy and motivation, that you've been craving. And this is like the bread and butter of your energy. Well, it's one of them, right? I say that about all these things because they're all amazing. An accountability system with daily check-ins to help you show up consistently, even when life gets unpredictable. You get one-on-one bi-weekly sessions and a Q&A session. One-on-one Q&A sessions with the group. And then you do get, it's not supposed to be one-on-one, it's supposed to be weekly group sessions. And then you do get a one-on-one a month. Sorry, the verbiage on that is messed up. My high performance habit tracking system that's going to save you time, energy, and make showing up for yourself effortless and guilt-free. Tactical stress reversing techniques to create mental clarity, improve relationships, and more restful sleep. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, there was 8.
Yes.
Okay,
There's 8. So done for you nutrition plans. This is like,
amazing.
This has changed the games for my clients, because I have created these meal plans out of necessity, because we just couldn't afford to just eat out every meal, and we couldn't afford to not have a plan. And when we didn't have a plan, I'm not gonna lie, even meat would go bad, veggies and fruit would go bad, because we just were like, I don't know what to make, let's just eat out. So this meal plan, you're gonna know what to eat. It's created for the picky eaters. My children love these recipes. And it comes with, the first 8 weeks comes with a grocery list. So you click on the link and it actually takes you to Walmart, and you just have to click add to cart. So I wouldn't recommend just adding all to cart, because there's things on there like salt that you probably don't need. I put on that, I just put everything that's in the recipes on there just in case, so it reminds you, I need to check. So before you add all to cart, you want to check your pantry, see what you have. And then there's another option that comes with a gut healing meal plan. There's only 4 weeks because it's recommended to be repeated another 4, but it helps you balance hormones and limit intense cravings. It helps with headaches, more productive sleep. This might be TMI. There's actually no such thing as TMI with me. So if it's TMI for you, I'm sorry. This changed the game for my sex drive and the way that I connected with other people. I mean, the last 2 are not related, but I'm not like sexual with everyone, right? But like and a part of it is that confidence, but the main part is balancing those hormones. And being somebody with endometriosis, I've had issues with drive my entire life, right? So this has been huge, and PCOS sucks. Okay, so for all of this stuff, it normally is $2,000, but for the week, I am offering my life coaching services with all of this stuff for and normally we would bring it down. And this is why I partner with this company. So instead of $2,000, partnering with this company would make it $999. But for this month, it's $219. And I need to fix my PowerPoint because it already gave away that it's not actually $219, right? So for all of this stuff, so you're gonna get breakfast. You're gonna get my favorite thing in the world. You've probably seen me drink it on my stories. It's the Energize, that mama juice. Yeah, she's drinking it right here. Yeah. You're gonna get doing this today, and you will have until tomorrow. You're gonna get breakfast. You're gonna get my meal plans. All of those promises for $199 a month. And I do recommend committing yourself to 3 months, but it's not required to get this discount. Like, you could do that. The cool thing is you're going to have access to this right here, this body. Remember those 20-minute workouts that I said I did? Mm-hmm. It's on here. So it's like, you want to think of it as like Netflix, but for workouts. So there's mindset stuff on there, the constructive ethos. You're going to learn constructive ethos through your sessions with me, but also they have classes on there. There's meditations, and those are going to be huge in helping you stay in your heart voice, right? Mm-hmm. But you're also going to get breakfast. So this is one of the reasons why I partner with this company, because instead of it being something on top of your bills, it's because it's a meal, it's actually going to slide nicely into your meals. But it's like you're buying all of your breakfast at once. So you're going to save that throughout the day, right? I often actually do this for dinner because that's when I get most of my cravings, and because it's like sweet and yummy. I don't eat all of the donuts and all of the cookies and stuff. So yeah, all of this body, this virtual studio, you get it for a whole year.
All your nutrition plans
for a year.
It's amazing.
Yes, good stuff. So the $199 a month, the reason why I say it's $199 a month is because that breakfast that comes with it. So in order to get that first month, yep, it's $199. So for today only, you're going to get this, and you're also going to get some free mama juice in with it. So I'm just going to, like, after you submit, I will send you a jar of that or some packets of the mama juice so you can try it. And I'm telling you, this stuff is going to change your life.
I don't drink coffee anymore.
Because and this is so much better for you than coffee.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's game changing.
Well, and you don't crash. Like, you don't, you know what I mean? It's just amazing.
And it's one of those ways that you save money, because how much did you spend on coffee?
A lot.
Coffee's expensive.
and so many calories.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Yes. And then here's the last thing I'm going to add on is, for this month, actually for the next few months, you will be able to do this. And if in 30 days you're like, I do not love how I feel, I'm not sleeping better, my skin isn't clearing up, I don't have more energy, you can send it all back for your refund. You can send back an empty bag and they will give you your money back. It's really cool. We just need to make sure we do it in the first 30 days. So that gives you at least, 29 days to have it consistently every day and realize how freaking amazing you feel. Yep. So if you're anything like me, remember how I was like, I have a limiting belief about money, right? Oops.
There I am.
There's Kalina. She's one of my testimonials. I want you to think of this, okay? What will your life feel like in 3 months if you don't dive in with this? Probably about the same that it is, right? What will it feel like in 3 months if you spend the next 3 months with us doing these things? Like, you'd be unstoppable, right? Unfreaking stoppable. I keep looking over here because your video's over here, but you would be unstoppable. And I saw this post when I was really scared to invest money in myself, when I was scared to do this. And I'm not going to lie, I totally I put it on credit because I was so scared to make money out of my checking. And then I saved so much money that I paid it off on my credit card. And then I had more money left over. But I read this post and I added a picture of my daughter with me. And I read this all the time. Here's the thing. How much you grow is a direct proportion to how much they will choose to grow. My little baby girl, right? Or your children in this instance. How you choose to view yourself with curiosity versus judgment will ripple to her. When you tell her she can achieve anything she wants in her life, she's going to believe you because she watched you do what you said you wanted to do. When you have hard conversations about life, grief, pain, and trauma, she's going to know they won't always hold her because she's witnessing you healing in real time. I'm sorry. I always get choked up with this. Life isn't about being the perfect parent. It's about admitting missteps, faults, and owning your shit. It's about teaching your kids that being a human is the greatest spiritual experience and greatest gift of all time. Let's not miss it. Let's not miss this chasing the past. Let's not miss this life chasing the past. There should be a comma there. Let's commit to growth, radical ownership, and level up the alignment and clarity, the work. The hard work is the heart work. It will set you free, free to be you, free to be me, and that is enough. Oh,
Yeah.
that gets me. I got to take a picture of this.
And that's
I'm gonna
beautiful.
post this. It's so beautiful, right? And it changed the game for me because I was so scared to spend the money. Here are some testimonials. But I was so scared to invest in myself. And a big part was because I didn't think I was worthy. And I thought all the extra money I had needed to go to my children, not realizing in that time I could have became the best version of me, which would figure anything out and give my kids the more patient, loving mom that they deserve. So I am going to close this out, leave this with you. I'm going to send out the recording and share the winner of the workshop. Do you have any questions before I let you go?
No, I think everything's been amazing and very thorough. I know that when I sent you a message, or when we were messaging the other day, I didn't know if you said you would have time to do like a one-on-one afterwards.
Yes. Do you want to hop in and do a one-on-one right now?
Yeah, I would. I have the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close this out and I'll send you a message with a link so you and I can jump on a call. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See you in a minute.
Thank you.